What's up, comic book, movie, Blade Runner fans, whatever a fan you are, this is a big weekend for all of us. This is the weekend of San Diego Comic-Con. And even though I feel like there are a bunch of announcements on the way, I really don't think there's been a lot of big announcements so far. The main thing that has excited me has been this new Blade Runner Black Lotus trailer. And really the reason why I'm excited about it is just because it's got that Blade Runner name attached to it. I know that there are bigger Blade Runner fans than me out there in the world, but boy, do I have an appreciation for that world. What am I talking about? So Blade Runner Black Lotus is going to be a show that's going to be on Adult Swim. It's coming in the fall, and it's got 13 episodes, right? And it's an anime. It's made by the same people that made this short anime film called Blade Runner Blackout. And so I'm going to just be straight up with you guys. I actually have not seen that anime. As far as Blade Runner goes, I've only watched the film from 1982 with Harrison Ford. I've watched the Renegade cut, right? That's like supposedly the best cut. I've also seen the original cut before, but I'm a big fan of that cut. And then besides that, I've watched Blade Runner 2049, which came out in 2017 by Denis Villeneuve. And I haven't read Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? That's the book written by Philip K. Dick that this is all based, sort of inspired by, right? And there's also like a series of Blade Runner sequel novels that were written by Philip K. Dick's friend. His name was K.W. Jeter. And I own the first book in that series, but I haven't read it. So I'm not going to claim to be any kind of Blade Runner expert or super fan. But what I will say is I really love the ideas of the movies. And I've always loved things that are adaptations of Philip K. Dick stories, right? And then I've watched like the making of documentary that was on the Blade Runner DVD, and just the behind the scenes of the original Blade Runner movie is just so intriguing to me, and the amount of effort that Ridley Scott and everyone working on the film put into it, and also just the fact that like it's always just been this series that fans like me, people that are into like sci-fi, superheroes, all that kind of stuff that we always discuss, everyone always has kind of an appreciation of Blade Runner, but it's always kind of like on the periphery, right? It's never like the main thing. Even when Blade Runner 2049 came out, it wasn't like this huge box office smash hit, right? And the original one is considered sort of like a sleeper hit, where it didn't do well initially in the box office, but then over time, people have gone to regard it as a classic. So maybe I should actually talk about the anime that's coming from Crunchyroll and Adult Swim. So in Blade Runner 2049, obviously it takes place in the year 2049, which we are getting closer and closer to, right? We're in 2021. The original Blade Runner movie took place in 2019. And so I know that to sort of rectify things and to make it make sense where it's like, wait a minute, this is 2019 and then this is going to be 2049. How is the technology going to match up? They made it so that there was a big, massive blackout that basically shut down all of technology, right, in this futuristic world. And so all records, all digital kind of stuff just got scratched by like these EMPs. In the anime that the creators made, the same creators for the show, they show that blackout or the results of that blackout, right? And so essentially the Blade Runner world of Blade Runner 2049 is like a sequel to the 2019 Harrison Ford movie, but it has this sort of like retro-y kind of technology that sort of seems to be in contradiction to our modern technology that we have right now. So I really like that they sort of justified how to have this weird kind of retro technology in this futuristic world. I think we're going to get some more of that in this anime. The anime takes place in 2032, which is like 10 years after that blackout. The blackout's in 2022, right? And it's well after the events of the original Harrison Ford Blade Runner movie. Now, in that original Harrison Ford Blade Runner movie, the main corporation, the most powerful corporation, the corporation that makes all the replicants, which are the subject of these movies and the show, right, is the Tyrell Corporation, right? And in the original movie with Harrison Ford, Tyrell gets killed, right, by Rutger Hauer's character. And so in that vacuum, after the Tyrell Corporation kind of goes under, a new corporation comes up called the Wallace Corporation. And we see the head of that corporation in Blade Runner 2049. He's played by Jared Leto, and his name is Neander Wallace, right? And people always kind of shit on Jared Leto, but I actually really liked him in Blade Runner 2049. I just liked the way that he kind of moved around and how serious he was. And I just don't think he gets credit for that role. His character is in this Black Lotus show, but he's going to be younger because it's, obviously 2032. So we still got a little time before 2049. His dad, Neander Wallace Sr., is going to be a character on the show too. And he's going to be played by, what's his face? Brian Cox. You know him. He played Hannibal Lecter in Manhunter, right? That was the first movie. It was based on Red Dragon. But I mean, Brian Cox is in everything, and he's in X-Men too. And you guys know who Brian Cox is. Anyway, they're two of the voice actors. And so I do kind of want to see more of that corporation. I want to see more of that character. So I'm all on board for that. And I also just kind of want to see the Blade Runner world transition from the original Harrison Ford movie to 2049. So I'm excited about this show. Besides that, you have the main character. I should probably talk about her. Her name is Elle, which is kind of, I'm watching Stranger Things right now with my daughter Pepper, and they have 11, and they kind of refer to her as Elle. So I think it's couldn't you have maybe come up with a different name for the main character? Her name's Elle, and she's played by Jessica Henwick, and she's kind of reminiscent of other actors that are in this cast. It's a lot of people where you're like, oh, I know them from that movie, or I know them, or I saw them in this movie that I really like, but it's not hit you over the head with actors that you recognize right away, right? For instance, Jessica Henwick, she's in a lot of things that I really love. She's in that movie Underwater. She plays an X-Wing pilot in The Force Awakens, right? She's Colleen Wing in the Luke Cage show, the Iron Fist show, and the Defenders, right? So she's in the Netflix Marvel shows. And so she's the main character in this one, right? Then you have Joseph, who's played by Will Yun Lee, and he's in the Wolverine. You remember that's the middle Wolverine movie? And then Altered Carbon, he's in that. And Altered Carbon is kind of like Blade Runner too, right? Then Josh Duhamel, he plays a Blade Runner in this. Now, I'm assuming that he is kind of the villain of the series, since the main character is a replicant, right? So she's going to want to get away from this guy. So I think it'd be kind of cool to have Josh Duhamel play the antagonist of a show. I think he's got the qualities for that. Probably what will happen is they'll make him sort of relatable and that he's not really the bad guy. He's just kind of doing his job. But we'll see, right? There's 13 episodes all so far coming out in the fall. And at least me, I'll watch it. And maybe Brian will watch it too. But I will watch it and I'll cover it because I feel like Blade Runner deserves that attention. It deserves some credit, some covering from guys like us. What else was I going to say? I saw a few comments. Some people didn't like the animation style, and I saw one comment for the trailer where a person said this kind of misses the whole point of Blade Runner. What I would say is this, that Blade Runner always seems to be a franchise in which there is not a high demand, right? There's always a high demand. Give us more Star Wars. Give us Star Trek. Give us comic book stuff. There's always a huge demand for that kind of stuff, right? But with Blade Runner, it seems like when they make a Blade Runner movie or some kind of thing based on Blade Runner, it's not because they're like, oh, we're going to make a ton of money off of this because the fans are clamoring for it. It's more like it's a passion project. And so I think that whoever made this show, the people behind it, which the director, oh man, I'm hoping I'm saying the director is Shinichiro Watanabe. I think it's just they're doing it because they like this world and they want to kind of elaborate on it. So I'm going to give it a chance. To me, it kind of gave off vibes of that movie Battle Angel Alita, where it's essentially this female kind of badass warrior and there's people hunting her down. It kind of seems like that. But I have to actually watch an episode, see how it plays out before I can judge it, right? This is just a trailer. Can't judge it. Last but not least, I'm just gonna say one other thing. You know, our channel is called Comic Books Transformed, and the idea is that we talk about things that maybe they start out as comics and then they get adapted into a TV show or a movie, or we see something like, you know, Transformers or Power Rangers, where it starts out as a TV show and then it gets converted into a comic, right? It can go either way. And one thing that I know definitely does not get a lot of attention are the Blade Runner comics, which I've started to read. And dude, I can't remember the writer's first name, but I know his last name's Green. And he also wrote the Blade Runner 2049 script, and he's written some Blade Runner 2049 comics. And so, not 2049. Dude, it's live. I don't really give a shit. Nobody really watches these videos anyway. I'm going to look up the comics real quick just to see. Oh, it's okay. It's published by Titan, and it's 2029. So it's kind of right around the same time period as this show. You know, it's only a few years before the show. And let me just get you that author's name too, since I want this to get some credit. And Comixology, you're going slow, man. I need to see. Okay. Michael Green. He's the guy that's written a lot of these Blade Runner comics, and it's for a publisher named Titan. We haven't really mentioned Titan too often on this channel. Usually talk about like Boom or IDW or Image or Marvel or DC. But Titan puts out Blade Runner. I think they also put out like Doctor Who books too. But if you are a Blade Runner fan and you came to my video because you're interested in the show, I suggest these comics, man. Check them out too, from Titan Comics, right? Titan Publishing. And we will cover Blade Runner Black Lotus on Comic Books Transformed. If you want to see a pudgy white guy with glasses review comic book related materials, make sure you like and subscribe. And we are going to bring you more updates from what we see at this year's San Diego Comic-Con. All right, this is Anchorpete signing off.